Hey everyone, and welcome to today's explainer. So today we're going to be decoding one of the most meticulously detailed architectural blueprints in all of human history. We're looking at the ancient instructions found right in the book of Exodus, chapter 25. Let's just dive right into this because we're taking a spatial tour of ancient engineering and artistry. More specifically, we are looking at the absolutely staggering amount of gold behind this sanctuary design. We're going to walk through exactly how this space was constructed, piece by piece, relying solely on the original text to guide us. But, before we get into the nuts and bolts, or I guess the gold and the wood, we really need to understand the ultimate purpose of this elaborate design. Our source text lays it out perfectly. And let them make me a sanctuary that I may dwell in their midst. That right there, that is the driving force behind every single measurement, every material chosen, and literally every hammer strike we're about to explore. Because this wasn't just a building, right? It was designed to be a literal dwelling place for the divine, right there among the people. And, well, if you're building a home for the divine, you absolutely need the best materials available. Which leads me to ask you this. Just how much gold does it actually take to build a divine sanctuary? Keep that question in the back of your mind as we walk through this explainer today. Because what starts off looking like a pretty simple list of materials very quickly escalates into a total masterclass in ancient metallurgy and incredibly opulent design. The sheer volume and the craftsmanship of the gold described in these blueprints, it's going to completely change how you visualize this ancient structure. To anchor us in the actual text we're decoding today, this is from the English Standard Version of Exodus 25, by the way, you'll notice right off the bat that this isn't some vague, mystical poem. It is a highly specific, rigidly structured set of instructions. Honestly, it reads like a technical manual for ancient architects. It dictates dimensions, materials, assembly instructions, the whole shebang. So let's just follow the architect's lead and start exactly where the text starts, gathering the materials. All right, moving into section 1, the golden contribution, gathering the raw materials. So the text notes that this was a contribution taken from every man whose heart moves him. It was a massive community effort, but the inventory they were requesting was incredibly specific and highly valuable. Just looking at this list brilliantly illustrates how diverse and precious these materials were. We've got blue, purple, and scarlet yarns, fine-twined linen, spices, onyx stones, acacia wood, and even tanned ram skins. Actually, there's this really fascinating footnote in our source that suggests those goat skins might have even been dolphin or dugong skins. I mean, talk about exotic materials, right? But notice what sits at the very top of this hierarchy, listed before anything else. Gold, silver, and bronze. Gold is priority number 1. It's the defining element of the sanctuary's most sacred objects. So let's see exactly how they put that gold to use. Okay, so let's move mentally into the sanctuary itself for section 2, the Ark and Mercy Seat, the sacred centerpiece. To properly examine this absolute centerpiece of the design, we really need to ground this ancient text in modern reality so we can accurately picture it. The text uses an ancient unit of measurement called a cubit. If we use the footnotes to translate that, a cubit was about 18 inches. So, doing the math, the Ark of the Covenant was roughly 45 inches in length and 27 inches in both width and height. It's actually kind of compact, isn't it? But let me tell you, its construction was anything but simple. The text breaks down the active building process with just incredible precision. Step 1. They constructed the box from acacia wood. But then they had to completely overlay it with pure gold both inside and out, and add a gold molding all the way around it. Step 2. They cast 4 solid gold rings and attached them to its 4 feet. And step 3, they made poles out of acacia wood, overlaid those with gold as well, and inserted them into the rings. The crucial point to take away here is mobility. The ark was designed to be carried, and those poles were never, ever supposed to be removed. So everywhere you looked, inside and out, you saw nothing but gold. But the top of the ark, that took the gold craftsmanship to a completely different level. Which brings us to the mercy seat. Now, the text defines this not as wood overlaid with gold, but actually scratch that. It's a cover made entirely of pure gold, perfectly matching that 45 by 27-inch footprint of the ark. Just notice the escalating use of gold here. We've progressed from a simple overlay on the base to a massive, solid slab of pure gold. And on top of that, 2 cherubim, these angelic figures, with their wings spread out, overshadowing the seat, facing each other. And the instructions specifically demand that they are of hammered work and of one piece with the mercy seat. The artistry required to hammer intricate, winged figures out of the exact same solid block of gold as the base is, well, it's simply staggering. And this was the exact spot where the text says the divine presence would meet and speak with them. Let's continue our spatial tour to the next key piece of furniture in the blueprints. Section 3, the table for bread, featuring moldings of gold. Once again, we see this incredible integration of specialized golden elements. Much like the ark, the table itself is made of acacia wood overlaid with pure gold, complete with its own gold molding. The text specifies it had to have a rim a handbreadth wide. Looking at our footnotes again, that translates to about 3 inches. And yep, that 3-inch rim had its own gold molding. On top of that, every single accessory for this table, the plates, the dishes for incense, the flagons, and the bowls for drink offerings, the instructions demand that you shall make them of pure gold. Literally no shortcuts here. The commitment to using pure gold for even the utilitarian everyday items is absolute. And that brings us to Section 4, the solid gold lampstand, the climax of craftsmanship. Okay, if you thought the solid gold mercy seat or those pure gold bowls were impressive, wait until you see this. I really want you to let the specific instructions sink in. The whole of it is single piece of hammered work of pure gold. The blueprints leave absolutely zero room for misunderstanding here. They couldn't just cast a bunch of different parts and weld them together. No way. The base, the stem, the branches, the whole thing had to be painstakingly sculpted and hammered out of one continuous, unbroken, massive piece of pure gold. The sheer engineering marvel and the unbelievable difficulty of executing this without any modern tools is honestly almost incomprehensible. And let's just think about what actually had to be hammered into that single piece of gold. We've got these incredibly complex, organic, floral design elements detailed in the text. There were 6 branches extending from the central stem, and on those branches were cups shaped like almond blossoms, complete with delicate calyxes and flowers. I mean, try to imagine the skill required by an ancient artisan to hammer out the delicate petals of a flower from a solid block of gold. Finally, 7 lamps were set up on top to illuminate the space in front of it. And yes, even the tongs and the trays for the lamps had to be, you guessed it, pure gold. All right, let's zoom out a bit now to our final section, the master blueprint, measuring the true value. So, we've looked at the individual objects, the super intricate measurements, and this relentless demand for pure gold. But we really need to try and measure the true scale of this project. 75 pounds. The text tells us that the lampstand, along with its utensils, was to be made out of a talent of pure gold. So what exactly is a talent? If we look at the final footnote provided in our source text, it reveals a staggering translation. One ancient talent equates to roughly 75 pounds. That is 75 pounds of pure gold just to make the single lampstand and its accessories. Which brings us right back to our final compelling question. If a single lampstand requires 75 pounds of pure gold, just how immense is the true weight and value of this entire divine design? When you factor in the solid gold mercy seat, the solid gold plates and bowls, the completely gold overlaid ark and table, and all those golden rings and moldings, the amount of wealth and labor detailed in Exodus 25 is absolutely breathtaking. You know, these aren't just ancient religious texts, they are the literal architectural blueprints of an incredibly wealthy, highly skilled, and deeply devoted people. It really makes you appreciate the engineering feats of the ancient world in a whole new way, doesn't it? I really hope this explainer helped you visualize these blueprints in a totally new light. Keep questioning, keep learning, and I'll catch you in the next explainer.